Canadians are paying $15 billion for EV battery production. It's a 100% subsidy for those batteries, Mr. Speaker.
Well, it turns out that not only did the economic wizards of the Liberal Party give $15 billion without any guarantees, they gave that $15 billion to make batteries. Welcome back to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling. That's right, you heard me correctly. The Liberal government gave $15 billion in tax dollars to the Stellantis Corporation to make batteries for EV cars that are not being manufactured, for EV delivery vans that are no longer being manufactured. Many of you may not have been paying attention to politics at that time, but the Liberal government was in the House of Commons talking about how Canada was going to become an electric battery superpower, or they were going to make all the batteries to power the whole wide world. Every car in North America was going to become electric, and they're out in front of it, and it was a horrible investment. Every single solitary electric vehicle manufacturing facility in this country has closed down, is moving, retooling, or simply gone bankrupt and never to be heard from again. And every time every one of these places closes down, they take with them Canadian tax dollars. The Liberal government, on top of everything else, doesn't even know how to invest properly. Before we get into it, I want to encourage all of you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this channel with all of your socials. All right, let's get into this. We have MP Dancho versus MP Joly, and true to form, MP Joly makes all kinds of absurd statements.
A $15 billion deal to subsidize Stellantis to produce electric vehicle batteries in Canada, promising it would secure Canadian jobs. But now planned production for Brampton is relocating to the U.S. and 3,000 jobs are at risk here in Canada. At the same time, Stellantis has announced $13 billion of investment in the U.S. that will create tens of thousands of American jobs. So under Liberals, taxpayers are subsidizing a company that's moving billions of investment and jobs out of Canada. How could the Liberals make one of the biggest corporate subsidies in Canadian history without a Canada-wide jobs guarantee?
Honourable Minister of Industry.
I'll tell you, the thing that makes me a little bit shocked is when Stellantis said that they were leaving Oakville, Doug Ford and Mark Carney stood up and said, no, they're going to move 1,500 jobs to Windsor, and then they're going to make a new vehicle in Oakville. They're going to put in a new model, they would say, meaning a new car. But it's set up for batteries and electric vehicles. It would take years to convert that over to anything else. I mean, they didn't even want to tell us that.
Decision by Stellantis to move its production from the Brampton plant is completely unacceptable, and that is why this morning we were with the Conservative government of Ontario, with Unifor, with Stellantis, to make sure that we would be one strong team Canada, because we need to make sure that the 3,000 jobs in Brampton are back. So I hope that I can work with my colleague, with all the MPs in this place, because we need to be Canada strong on this. Thank you.
It's funny that she would need to throw in the term conservative, right? Like somehow Doug Ford's conservative. Conservative in name only is my opinion of Doug Ford. He worships the ground that Carney walks on. He doesn't really care too much about anything else. He does exactly what Carney tells him to do. I wish he had the backbone of, say, Scott Moe or of Premier Smith, but he doesn't. He's running around pouring booze down the drain, talking about how, I don't even know. I mean, who can keep track of the foolishness coming out of his mouth most of the time? However, what I don't approve, I mean, most of you know that I think Doug Ford is basically a turncoat, and he's not doing anything to stop these jobs. He's just essentially talking a whole bunch of rhetoric to try to make people angry, but there's no problem solving in his approach, much like the Liberal Party, the federal Liberal Party. What I am going to take issue with, especially, however, from MP Joly, is her insistence that all of a sudden we get on I hope I can get everybody in the House to agree with me. Because here's the thing that the Liberals say most of the time.
Mr. Speaker, we will take no lessons from the Conservatives.
funny how when the Conservatives do want to work with you, all we hear from the Liberal government is how they will take no lessons from the Conservative Party. They will take no advice from the Conservative Party. But when they are losing jobs, when all of their decisions are horrible, when everything that the Liberals claim is going to make the country better turns to pot, oh, Canadians have to, the Conservatives need to support help us. The Conservatives need to approve the budget. What are you talking about? Why don't you go first, Liberals? You're always expecting everybody else to make sacrifices. You're always expecting everybody else to do something. But if you want those things, you should give those things. I think what you should do to get everything, kick off the ball rolling, is just tender your resignation, and we can sort of go back to reset, because the whole country's going to pot anyway. So we might as well start with a new government. At least then we might have a chance to save this instead of being years of hardship.
The honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
The fact is, Canadians are paying $15 billion for EV battery production. It's a 100% subsidy for those batteries, Mr. Speaker, but there's no public evidence the Liberals have secured job guarantees for the broader Stellantis footprint here in Canada. There are thousands of auto sector jobs on the line here, Mr. Speaker. Canadians deserve to know, in exchange for $15 billion of their tax dollars, did the Liberals secure a guarantee to protect every single Stellantis job in Canada? Yes or no?
The honourable
Now, you see, subsidized EV batteries paid 100% by the government. That's how the Chinese do business, which is exactly the same thing that we do with these trees. That's why the Americans won't allow either of those things to come into their country, because they are not subsidized by the government. They are not being bought and paid for by the taxpayer. Mark Carney, for all his, I'm a businessman and all the rest of that. It's funny how quickly he will revert to the Marxist system of investment. And we can say that it was Justin Trudeau, but Mark Carney was in the back halls driving all the economic decisions, passing them through the various ministers. Don't pretend like he wasn't. Of course, this is the kind of thing that the Liberal government won't say to you out loud. But obviously, if they gave $15 billion to Stellantis to make batteries, 100% subsidy, you heard her, that means that we bought these batteries, me and you, through a corporation that's worth a lot of money, that got the kind of money to invest $13 billion in the United States of America, driven by the Liberal Party with an economic outlook for EVs that is dismal at best. Oh, yeah. No. We'll take no advice from these Conservatives, all right. Come on, man.
Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, I know my colleague is very interested in this issue, which is normal, and of course, this is my number one priority right now, but she already knows the answer. The documents will be presented and produced before the committee, and of course, she'll have access to the information. That's right. My goal is to make sure that we work together, because we need to fight as one Canada strong on this issue.
That's it.
One Canada strong. That's an interesting statement. It seems to me that I remember the Liberal Party saying something that doesn't go with that.
Mr. Speaker, we will take no lessons from the Conservatives. We will take no lessons from these guys, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I know Philip Champagne. He says that at least 3 times a week because he loves how it plays out on TikTok, and he needs the attention. But it's a statement that is being said by the finance minister of the party who signed the deal with Stellantis, saying he's not going to be taking any advice from the only fiscal group in the building. While Melanie Joly, the industry minister, is trying to convince Canadians that it's not her fault. It's not the Liberals' fault. It's because the Conservatives don't agree with them. I mean, is that really... I mean, do Canadians really fall for this? Because if they do, we have to reevaluate our education system.
Honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very interested to know what the Minister of Industry knows about these contracts. Perhaps she can answer this simple question. How many Canada-wide jobs did the Liberals guarantee for $15 billion that they gave Stellantis? How many jobs? Can she tell us?
Ministre de l'Industrie.
Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, let me be extremely clear. The auto sector in Canada is victim of unjustifiable and unjustified 25% tariff by the American administration, period. Meanwhile, the auto workers are trying sure that they develop the best product on the face of the earth. And that's what we'll continue to help them to do while we're facing trade tensions with the American government. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, we will work with Doug Ford's administration, with Unifor as one Canadian team, because we need to do it for the sake of our country and the sake of our work.
So, no, she does not know how many jobs are guaranteed, or she knows that it's absolute zero. I believe that it's kind of telling, because if Melanie Joly had the answer, if the Liberals had an answer, they would just spit it out. But they don't have the answer, or the answer they do have, they know will make them look bad. So you hear them going on with this foolishness. I think that we can see right there that the Melanie Joly has no idea what she's doing. Another Liberal who's in the front bench that is not qualified for the job, stomping her feet and clenching her fist and talking about how it's all about unjustified tariffs. I think Donald Trump has made it very clear why these tariffs in his mind are totally justified. Rather than sit up on your high horse and try to judge Donald Trump's actions, perhaps you should take a little accountability, a little responsibility for the mantle of leadership that you begged Canadians to give you, and do something for Canada. I don't want to hear about Malaysia or Europe or China or Japan or any of them. Mark Carney referenced Dubai earlier, or UAE. I want to hear about what you're doing for Canada. I want you to admit that thousands of high-paying jobs are being siphoned off into the United States of America because the corporate leaders have decided that Donald Trump's policies are better for their shareholders if they simply do go down to the United States and begin production of the product down there. Our government says you're not allowed to put a shovel in the ground. Our government says, don't worry about it. Many years from now, we might be able to build a nation-building project, which, of course, is ridiculous. Just ridiculous. They're not going to do any of it. Mark Carney is an ardent supporter of EV mandates. He's written books on it. He's invested heavily in China because of it. We can't expect the Liberal government to get us out of the mess that they put us into. It's not Donald Trump's fault. The problem might have sounded good back in March, MP Joly, but it's been creeping up on 7 months. And your government has done nothing but open up 25 bureaucracies for just about everything, new buildings and hiring new people, but no jobs for the middle class, no cuts to food prices, no cuts to housing. None of the things that you said were going to happen, the quickest in history, has transpired. So I think that Melanie Joly should simply resign because she's clearly not qualified. In fact, the entire front bench of the Liberal Party should turn in their resignations and a stiff apology to Canadians, and let the Conservatives come in and get something done, because at least the Conservatives are prepared to put shovels in the ground. Not Doug Ford so much, but the rest of them. That's just my opinion. You can leave me your opinion down in the comments. I'm going to wrap here. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.